one thing that I did is I went back kind of with fresh eyes after I had watched a lot of these long form interviews with Tate and a lot of this extensive content. I kind of went back with fresh eyes and looked at some of the shorter clips with those eyes. And I found a few that I said, you know what, I could see these triggering the right people, but there's a lot of unpopular truth in them. There's a lot of humor, and I want to play them. These exist, as these short videos that he doesn't love, but I noticed a lot of things in them that I didn't see the first time around. So you have these, Tyler. The first one is on TikTok. This is, we'll run this up to 18 seconds. Let's just take a listen.
Said that you could have multiple partners, but a female that was with you couldn't also have multiple partners?
Well, a woman could say that same thing if she decided. She could say, I can sleep with multiple men, but my men can't sleep with multiple women if she so choose. We're all free individuals, right?
Yeah, but you wouldn't agree if a woman said that.
I would personally find that revolting, correct? Revolting. But there are women who find what I say revolting.
So you're not telling...
So even just that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the lead-in is him just saying, well, yeah, but if you're a woman, you're in a relationship and you decide that you want to make that decision, you can go make that decision. I personally find it this way, but you might find it, you know what I'm saying? It just seems very... I don't see the outrage. Now, of course, if you listen to the whole thing, he goes on to give his opinion on it, which people have a problem with. But I wound up finding a lot of this nuance in there that I hadn't heard before. Now, maybe I didn't hear it because it wasn't clipped in the actual videos that I was watching. That part was missing. Maybe I didn't hear it because I got stuck on the second part and wasn't paying attention before because I didn't allow for that proper context. But I think it's really interesting. I don't know if you want to respond to that one or hear a few more. There's several of these that have the same theme. But do you think there are a lot of people out there, I guess is a great question for you, who had been inclined to disagree, had kind of made up their mind a little bit about him, went back after this, looked at some extra content and said, well, wait, maybe I've been played a bit here?
I would say very few, if that. I think you and I had this conversation when I first came in there last time. Like when you begin an argument or begin a quote unquote debate with like, I have not seen very much of Fresh and Fit, but let me explain to you exactly what's going on with Fresh and Fit. Right. And so because I know I've been part of that show for almost 2 years now, I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know who these guys personally are and everything else. And so I'm just like, you know what, if you just go and you educate yourself and you take the time, it's what I call intellectual lethargy. And that's what most people are about, because again, we're in the TLDR generation, the TikTok video, the 45-second. Hell, I put out like occasionally I put out a short form video that's maybe 54 seconds. And I can tell if the person even watched the 54-second video, right? Because what most guys do is they'll look at the title, they'll look at the thumb, they'll look at the first 2 or 3 comments, and they'll go, "Yeah, screw this guy," it's like what I call a drive-by comment, right? And then they never watched it, and I can tell they didn't watch it because their comment reflects that they didn't even watch the whole thing. Or else I'll have guys who'll go, "Hey, where's the link to the whole video?" It's at the end of every clip. It's at the end of every short. You didn't take the 54 seconds to get to the end where that link is right there. So clearly you don't have an investment enough to really want to, you just want to feel heard. You just want to I think that's probably what a lot of guys and women as well want to. They just want to have a take. They want to have a hot take. They want to believe that somebody out there gives a shit about their
about what they say.
Quick hit comment, right? And so that's by the way, that's very powerful because people want that engagement, and you can use that to your advantage if you know how to use it. However, do people go back and they actually look at the video? Do they go to watch a 2-hour video to see did Fresh and Fit really get owned by Brittany Renner? No, they didn't. But you have to invest 2 hours of your time to realize that it was a really good conversation. It was a really good debate. But if all you're looking at is 45 seconds of, man, she really owned those guys, and that's what you want to see, and that's what your opinion is of Andrew Tate or myself or Fresh and Fit, if that's what you want to see, that's going to reinforce that 45 seconds that it took you to watch that video. That's going to reinforce your estimate and disqualification of anything that they have to say in the future as a result of that. So do people actually see this and go, well, what's he really talking about here? Like the same people who are talking, like this girl who's on the show here talking about like, well, how can you say that men can cheat and women can't? And he just said, you can do it too. I was like, that's the, he's trying to express that. You're not going to get that part. You're only going to get the hot take of him saying, well, a high value man should be able to cheat and his woman should not be able to cheat. He's just saying, he's explaining it to you, but you have to go and watch the long form to get the full picture of what he's saying. And in the meantime, the same people who are having a problem with him say that are the ones who want to be in a poly relationship in a throuple.
Right.
That's exactly here it is.
Yeah.
But you can't say it the other way around.
Yeah. All right, let's play the second one. Tyler, you have that one? We have a few of these. They're great.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, if every man was honest with himself, if you were to ask him, what's the worst driving you've ever seen? What's the most uncomfortable you've ever been in a car? What's the worst parking you've ever seen? If you were to ask him and he was honest and he wasn't on the internet worried about getting canceled or trying to be correct or looking up statistics or any dumb shit, he'd probably say, I was in the car with this chick once and she nearly killed me. That is not saying women are bad creatures. I'm not saying all women drive that way. It doesn't mean that I don't think females should have a right to drive, etc.
So even that, it was interesting because there's a lot of caveats that he's throwing in there. He's saying, I'm not saying women are bad. I'm not saying all women are bad drivers. I'm not saying X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying if you ask a bunch of guys, I happen to think that's 100% true. If you asked, if you go to my husband and you say, who's the better driver in your house? He's going to say, I am. She drives like a maniac. He's going to say it. And sometimes I do drive like a maniac. And I think that's, again, it's like an inconvenient truth here, not to even use that term. Unflattering. Yeah. It's not.
Let me break this down for you. And I forget, again, I'm going to give you a quote and I forget who said this. Okay. To create, it is an order of magnitude greater to refute bullshit than it is to create bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
It takes you 30 seconds to create bullshit. It takes you 2 hours to refute that bullshit. That was the 30-second buzz clip.
Right.
Okay. So, and I want to say maybe it was Ben Shapiro or somebody who said that, but it's an order of magnitude greater to refute bullshit than it is to create bullshit. And that's what he's kind of dealing with here, because what happens, and I'm guilty of this too. And so is Myron and Fresh, because when that clip came out, Hassan, who I think is like the co-host or a good friend of like Ethan Klein on H3, started going, oh, well, insurance rates this. And let me show you why, women are better drivers. They're safer drivers. Right. And it's like, that's not what he said. He said men are better drivers. He didn't say they were safer drivers. Mm-hmm. And so what happens, you got me, you got Myron, you got God knows how many other people who are going and doing the research and saying, okay, here's why men are better drivers. Here's why he's wrong. Here's why he's right. And you have to go and like become this, do a doctoral thesis, on a 30-second buzz clip that is just absolute horseshit, but it takes that long to refute that bullshit. And so when I go in and I say, you know what, it's not even so much about like insurance rates. You want to talk about safer drivers. Well, let's go look at the numbers here. There are more men on the road than there are women. There are more professional drivers. There's more long distance truckers. There's more people who are driving for a living who are men than there are women. Yeah. So does that diffuse the insurance rates for women being safer drivers? So you can go into that level of detail and refute all that shit that Hassan was coming at Tate for. But at the end of the day, nobody cares, Right.
And that's not, and truly what he
Nobody got time for that. Who cares?
Truly what he was just saying is if you asked a bunch of men, I mean, I could sit here and say, if you go and ask a bunch of women, they're all going to say they're the better drivers, right? That's what you're going to get from women. They're going to say,
I'm
the better
there's
driver.
More NASCAR drivers. There's more professional drivers.
Right.
There's more sports drivers. So you can't make that statement without taking it, because that's one data point. Right. One data point is, well, women have lower insurance premiums, so therefore they're the safer drivers. Well, yeah, but that's not what he's saying here whatsoever. You could take that as a data point, but we got to take that in consideration with there's more long haul truckers. There's more NASCAR drivers. There's more F1 drivers. There's more, sprint car drivers, whatever you want to put it out as. You can go and do that and diffuse the numbers and just wiggle out of it however you want to.
Rollo, I did a whole show on equal pay because I'm so tired of that conversation just coming out like a sticker. Women need to get paid. And I went through the decisions women make, the choices they make, how many hours you're actually in the workplace. I mean, I really laid it out for everyone, because if we're going to have a debate, well, and also if you're going to have a debate about something, again, we keep coming back to the same point. There has to be some foundation of fact involved, or it's just stupid and not worth my time. So I did a lot of digging on that. But that is another conversation on equal pay, that you have all the little banners and the little stickers, and none of it is grounded in reality. If you like the short clip, you can catch another one here, or you can catch the full episode right here.